Strange noises in the night. The ship drifted through the endless darkness of space. It was a cargo vessel, old but strong, carrying supplies between human colonies. Ethan worked as a maintenance technician, fixing pipes, wires, and any small problem the crew faced. He liked his job. It was quiet, and he liked the sound of the engines humming through the metal walls. But for the last 3 nights, something strange had been happening. When the ship grew silent at night, Ethan began to hear scratching noises. They were faint at first, like the sound of claws against metal. Sometimes it came from the floor, sometimes from the wall. It was never in the same place twice. The first night he ignored it. The second night he started to wonder if it might be rats. Every ship had them small creatures that hid in the storage decks. They chewed through wires and made trouble for engineers. The crew always joked about space rats, saying they were the toughest survivors in the galaxy. But on the third night, the sound was different. It wasn't just scratching, it was tapping. Tap. Tap, tap. Tap. The rhythm was strange, almost like it was repeating a pattern. Ethan lay in his small bunk, listening. The sound was too steady, too planned. It wasn't an animal. It was like someone knocking in a secret code. The noise came from the far wall near the maintenance section. Ethan sat up, his curiosity stronger than his fear. He grabbed his flashlight and tool bag. The corridors were quiet. Only the soft hum of life support systems filling the air. The smell of metal and machine oil was strong. His boots echoed softly as he walked. When he reached the maintenance area, the sound stopped. Ethan frowned and pressed his ear against the wall. Nothing, just silence. He tapped the wall with his wrench. No reply. Shaking his head, he turned to leave. But then scratch, scratch, scratch. He spun back toward the wall. The sound came again, faster this time. Tap, 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 scratch. Tap, tap. It was right in front of him. Ethan scanned the wall with his flashlight. At first, he saw nothing, just the same dull metal panels. Then his eyes caught something, a thin outline of a square. It was a hatch, but smaller than the ones shown in the ship's blueprints. He stepped closer, brushing off years of dust with his sleeve. The edges were worn, as if something inside had been pressing against it for a long time. His pulse quickened. Why would there be a hatch here, hidden behind equipment and wires? Ethan remembered the old stories from other engineers about secret compartments in old ships, places where smugglers once hid cargo or where the military kept dangerous things. He shivered, but his curiosity kept him there. The scratching had stopped again. The air around him felt colder. A faint vibration came from the metal, like something deep inside was moving. He thought about calling security, but then he imagined the teasing. They would laugh, say he was scared of rats. He decided to check it himself. He knelt and tried to find a latch or handle. His fingers brushed against a hidden lock mechanism, old but still functional. With a few turns of his wrench, it clicked softly. The air that escaped was stale and heavy. It smelled faintly of rust and something else, something sharp, like metal and chemicals mixed. The ship's lights above flickered for a second. Ethan froze, glancing down the hallway. No one was there. The hatch stayed closed. The noise did not return. He should have walked away, but he couldn't. The mystery pulled at him. His heart beat faster. He reached out and pressed his palm against the cold metal. Somewhere deep beyond the hatch, something shifted. A sound like a slow, heavy breath drifted through the wall. Ethan stepped back. It wasn't rats. Whatever was behind that hatch, it was alive. The hidden hatch. Ethan stood in the dim corridor, staring at the thin outline of the hidden hatch. The scratching sounds had gone silent, but the memory of that slow, heavy breath still echoed in his mind. He reached into his tool bag, his fingers trembling slightly. The lock on the hatch was old, its metal dull and corroded, but still strong. It wasn't a normal ship lock. This one had strange grooves and an extra latch, almost like it had been designed to keep something inside, not just to keep people out. He glanced down the hallway again, making sure no one was coming. If anyone saw him here, they might order him to step away. Or worse, they might open it without warning. Something in his gut told him that would be a mistake. His breath came slower, heavier, as he slid the wrench into place and twisted. The lock gave a reluctant click. Dust fell from the edges as the hatch creaked open slightly. A cold gust of air rolled out, stale and carrying the faint smell of rust mixed with something organic. The gap was narrow, just enough for his flashlight beam to slip inside. The light fell on a short, cramped tunnel lined with metal pipes and dangling cables. The walls were marked with scratches, deep and uneven. Some of the marks were fresh, the edges sharp and silver. Others were old and rusted over. Ethan's skin prickled as he realized these marks were made from the inside. Something had been trying to get out. He crouched, peering further in. The tunnel sloped down into darkness, far away, barely visible. A faint pulsing light blinked slowly. The rhythm was steady, like the beat of a heart. The sound of his own breathing seemed too loud. Every instinct told him to close the hatch and walk away. But curiosity was a stronger voice in his head. He pulled the hatch open wider, the hinges groaning. The sound echoed unnaturally, as if the tunnel swallowed it. Ethan slid one leg inside, then the other. The air was colder here. Thick and still, the metal under his hands felt damp. As he crawled forward, his flashlight caught movement in the corner of his eye. Something small darted away into the shadows, too fast to see clearly. He froze, listening. The scratching returned, only. Now it was ahead of him, not behind. It was joined by another sound, a soft clicking, like claws tapping on metal. He swallowed, forcing himself forward. The tunnel walls seemed to close in around him. The pulsing light grew brighter with each movement. Then, without warning, the scratching stopped. The silence was worse than the noise. He could hear only the low hum of the ship's distant engines and his own heartbeat. The light ahead flickered, revealing a wider space at the end of the tunnel. Ethan couldn't see much from here, but he caught a glimpse of curved metal shapes. One of them looked like a large container, its surface smooth and dark. The faintest vibration passed through the floor. Whatever was in there, it was moving. The first glimpse, Ethan's knees ached as he crawled out of the narrow tunnel into the hidden chamber. The space was larger than he expected, its ceiling low but stretching far into the shadows. The pulsing light came from the center of the room, spilling over the walls in a dull blue glow. It wasn't from a lamp or a machine. It came from something alive. Rows of strange metal structures lined the walls. Some looked like old storage crates, others like alien machinery he had never seen before. Cables hung from the ceiling, swaying gently even though there was no breeze. Dust swirled in the air, disturbed by his movements. The smell here was stronger, a mix of damp metal and something faintly sweet, like rotting fruit. Then he saw it. A large black container stood in the center, its surface smooth and rounded. It pulsed faintly, as if a slow heartbeat was trapped inside. The rhythm matched the light. It brightened with each pulse, then dimmed again. He stepped closer, his flashlight trembling in his hand. Suddenly, movement flashed in the corner of his eye. Ethan spun, just in time to see a small figure dart behind one of the metal crates. It was quick, too quick to be human. The scratching sound returned, followed by a soft, rapid clicking. He caught another glimpse, a tiny silhouette with a long head and slender limbs. Its skin reflected the blue light, smooth and almost glassy. Ethan's pulse raced. He wasn't alone here. He crouched, trying to see where the creature had gone. Then, without warning, something slid across the floor toward him, a small metallic shard. It clinked softly and came to rest at his boot. He bent down, picking it up. The shard was warm in his palm, glowing faintly blue just like the container. It hummed quietly, as if it was alive. From the shadows, a soft sound emerged, not scratching, not clicking. It was whispering, a language Ethan didn't understand. The tone was neither threatening nor friendly. It was urgent, like a warning. He turned toward the sound. The blue glow revealed a pair of large black eyes staring at him. From behind the crates, they blinked slowly, and the whispers stopped. For a long, tense moment, Neither of them moved. Then the container in the center gave a sudden heavy thump. Both Ethan and the small creature flinched. The heartbeat inside was getting faster, asterisk the warning. The heavy thump from the black container echoed through the chamber. Dust shook loose from the ceiling, falling like tiny gray snow. Ethan's grip on the glowing shard tightened. The small figure in the shadows stepped forward, revealing itself under the dim blue light. It was no taller than a child. Its body was thin, its limbs long and delicate. Its skin shimmered faintly, smooth like glass but shifting in color as it moved. The most striking feature was its eyes, huge, round and black, reflecting every flicker of light. They didn't blink often, and when they did, the movement was slow, almost thoughtful. Ethan's breath caught in his throat. The creature stopped a few steps away, tilting its head as if studying him. Then it spoke. The voice was soft but clear, carrying a strange echo that made the words feel heavier. "Do not open it," the creature said, pointing toward the container. Its accent was strange, each word slightly stretched. "If you open it, they will all wake up." Ethan's eyes darted to the container. Another deep thump came from within. The pulsing light grew brighter for a moment, then dimmed again. "They?" Ethan asked quietly, but the alien only glanced nervously toward the shadows. "They are hunters," it whispered, "and they will not stop until everything here is gone." Before Ethan could ask more, a loud metallic clang came from behind him. He spun around, heart racing. The hatch he had entered through was now closed. The tunnel's faint light was gone, replaced by darkness. He was trapped. The alien's gaze locked onto him, its expression unreadable. "Now we must leave," it said, urgency creeping into its voice. Ethan hesitated, torn between escape and finding out what was inside the container. The floor beneath them trembled slightly. Another thump came, this one stronger. The alien flinched, stepping back. "They are awake now," it whispered, voice almost shaking, "and they can smell us." The escape attempt, the cold air in the chamber, grew heavier. It felt thicker with every breath. Ethan's skin prickled as if the walls themselves were watching him. The alien stepped closer, tugging at his arm with surprising strength. "We must go now," it said, its voice low and urgent. A sharp cracking sound came from the black container. Thin lines of glowing green began to spread across its surface. Something inside pressed hard against the walls of its prison. The sound was not a single thump anymore. It was a steady pounding. Faster and faster. Ethan could feel the vibration under his boots. The alien pulled him toward the far side of the chamber. Between two crates was a narrow opening leading to another tunnel. It was darker than the first. Its walls twisted like they had been bent by heat or force. "This way," the alien whispered. "They will come for the warm-blooded first." Ethan didn't ask what that meant. He didn't want to know. They hurried into the tunnel, their footsteps echoing against the metal. From behind them came the sound of tearing metal. The container was breaking apart. A hiss filled the air, like steam escaping from a pipe, but it carried a foul, sweet smell. Ethan's stomach turned. Then came the sound that froze him in place, breathing. Not human breathing. It was slow, deep, and wet. Each inhale rattled like air moving through a hollow chest. The alien shoved him forward, snapping him out of his paralysis. "Run," it ordered, its voice sharper now. The tunnel twisted left, then right. Ethan's flashlight beam shook as his hands trembled. Shadows seemed to move along the walls. Behind them, something scraped along the floor, a heavy claw dragging across metal. The sound was getting closer. A loud crash echoed through the tunnel. The floor beneath them shuddered. Ethan risked a glance over his shoulder. In the far distance, just visible in the faint green glow, something was crawling into the tunnel. Its shape was wrong, too many limbs, bending at angles no living thing should. Its eyes glowed faintly, fixed directly on them. Asterisk the truth. The tunnel walls seemed to close in around them as they ran. Ethan's breath came fast and shallow. The alien kept glancing over its shoulder, its wide black eyes filled with fear. The sound of claws scraping metal was still behind them, slow but steady. It was not chasing to catch them. It was following, hunting, waiting for the right moment. They burst into a smaller chamber, lit only by a dying blue light from a broken panel. Ethan leaned against the wall, trying to catch his breath. "What is that thing?" he asked, his voice shaking. The alien hesitated, its gaze fixed on the floor. "It is a hunter from my homeworld," it said softly. "My people brought it here long ago, before humans ever owned this ship." Ethan's eyes widened. "You brought it here. Why?" The alien's jaw tightened. "It was a prisoner," it whispered. "A killer that destroyed entire villages. We trapped it, we sealed it away. But when the humans claimed this vessel, they did not know the hatch even existed." Its voice broke slightly. "So my people stayed hidden, guarding the seal, living in the walls where no one would find us." Ethan felt a cold weight in his stomach, the scratching he had heard. It wasn't rats at all, it was these hidden people, watching, protecting. "And now?" he asked. The alien's eyes glistened. "Now the seal is broken, and the hunter will kill everything alive on this ship." A deep rumble rolled through the floor. From far away came the sound of metal tearing apart. Ethan could hear something moving faster now. The alien stepped closer, grabbing his arm. "There is one way to stop it," it said, "but you will have to choose between saving your crew or saving us." The final choice. The chamber felt even smaller now. The dim light flickered on the alien's face, making its black eyes glisten like drops of oil. Ethan's pulse thundered in his ears. Behind them, the sound of the hunter's claws scraped along the floor, slow and deliberate. It was not rushing. It didn't need to. It knew its prey had nowhere to go. The alien moved toward a rusted control panel on the wall. Its hands shook as it brushed away layers of dust and debris. "This is the emergency purge system," it said. "It was built long before your people took this ship." Ethan stepped closer, studying the old levers and switches. Some were broken, others fused in place from decades of neglect. "How does it work?" he asked. The alien's voice dropped to a near whisper. "If I trigger it, the chamber where the hunter was kept will be flooded with fire. It will kill everything inside. The hunter, my people hiding in the walls, everyone." Ethan's chest tightened. He imagined the small shapes darting through the shadows, the same ones he had feared just days ago. They were not pests. They were survivors. They had been guarding the humans without ever being thanked. And now they would die with the monster they had spent their lives keeping trapped. From the tunnel came a sharp hiss. A shadow shifted in the green light. The hunter was closer. Its glowing eyes blinked once, slowly, never looking away from them. The alien's hand hovered over the main lever. "I can do it," it said. "But if you pull it, it will be faster, no hesitation." Ethan stared at the lever. His hands felt cold. He thought of the crew sleeping above, unaware of the danger crawling beneath their feet. He thought of the alien, risking its life to lead him here. The sound of the hunter's claws grew louder. There was no more time to think. Ethan stepped forward, placing his hand over the alien's. Their eyes met. No words were spoken, but the understanding was clear. With one final breath, Ethan slammed the lever down. The ship roared to life as ancient machinery awakened. From far away, a deep hum built into a violent rumble. The floor shook, the walls groaned. Then came the fire. A roaring wave of heat and light flooded the hidden chamber. Ethan shielded his face, the smell of burning metal and flesh filling the air. The hunter let out a shriek that cut through the ship like a blade. It was a sound of rage, of hunger. Denied, and then silence. When the smoke began to clear, Ethan turned. The alien was still there, standing in the fading blue light. Its eyes were heavy, filled with grief. "They are gone," it said quietly. Ethan had no words. He just nodded. The two of them stood there in the silence, the distant hum of the ship returning to normal. Above them, the crew slept on, never knowing how close death had come. Ethan knew he would never tell them. Some truths were too heavy to share, and some sacrifices deserve to remain in the dark.